Concavenator has now gotten its TLC within Path of Titans after a long wait. We have a lot to talk about today, but let's just start off with the model itself. The model hasn't changed. It's apparently gotten some slight texture updates. They are not as noticeable as usual, but we've got quite a bit to showcase, and there is a new emote over here by the looks of it as well to have a look at. But for species, you've got Concavenators, which is plus 5% bleed damage, Deinocheirus, which is plus 10% stamina recovery. I'm messing up all of these pronunciations. Then we've got Deinocheirus, which is plus 20% swim speed. And obviously male and female colorations are there. Let's go ahead, check it out in game, and let's start with the baby. Let's go. So for the baby, of course, it looks like this. I mean, it's a standard Concavenator baby. It's very cute as per usual. Now, when you look at your standard abilities when you are a baby, I do want to say I did just set this growth to 0.25, so it was an adult at one point. So this is what you get. You get your bite attack at 0.25 growth. You can change your claw stuff. Bloodthirsty exists. We'll find out about that when we go over the abilities. But you get another passive ability, which is Slippery Scales. It's your only and first passive ability, which is while wet, your bucking is 25% stronger. Obviously, Metabolism, Hypercarnivore, and Fisher as well. As standard, though, you get a standard bite attack. And that is that. The other thing, of course, is obviously comparing it to another dinosaur. Now, this is on a slant, but it's against a Pachycephalosaurus. We can go on the other side of the slant, and I'll be slightly bigger than the Pachycephalosaurus. So you're around about the same size. There is a little Bargaceratops over there, which will probably come and eat me later. So I'm just going to clear the critters and get rid of it. Go away, mister. But in terms of damage against a Pachycephalosaurus as a standard baby, with your standard bite attack, this is how much damage you are doing. Now, of course, this thing does come with some emotes as well, so let's really quickly showcase all of these emotes off as per usual. So, of course, in terms of the adult, I am using a paid skin, by the way, if you are curious. This is the Garter skin. I can't remember what pack this is from, but yeah, just bear in mind the skin that I've got on is a paid skin, and I'm not sure if it's accessible anymore. That being said, size-wise, of course, I mean, this is on a slant. I should get the geezer a bit closer to less of a slant, maybe over there. So let's really quickly do that. So now the Pachycephalosaurus is on less of a slant, you can have a proper look at the size comparison there. But it's not really that important to really showcase because we're going to have a look at all of the abilities. Now, there's a few abilities to go over today, so let's get into them. So, let's have a look at all of the abilities. There is a lot to go over here. Firstly, Slippery Scales, we've talked about this one. While you're wet, your bucking is 25% stronger. Then you go to your head, you've got a couple bite abilities here. So, you've got Riptide, which causes medium damage, 35% increased damage if the target is wet. Now, you'll see a distinction here between a wet and a dry gameplay style. There'll be more of that comes to light as we go on here. Then you've got Rend, which is a delayed attack that deals medium bleed and medium damage. It can also trigger Bloodthirsty if it's equipped. Bloodthirsty is going to crop up quite a bit. We'll have an answer for that because it is a sense. Then you get a bite, which is medium damage. You only get one head slot, by the way. You got 3 options there, 1 head slot. It's a case of just picking and choosing which one you like the best. Now, you've got Nictitating Membrane. It's back, but it's not a passive ability like we have on Deinocheirus and such like that. You gain the ability to dive underwater with Nictitating Membrane and increases your water mobility. It allows you to see clearer underwater, during fog and during rainstorms. Also passively tracks the distance to the nearest fish within 100 meters, which is pretty cool. Then you got Frenzy, which is 25% increased stamina recovery and 100% increased acceleration when within 50 meters of a bleeding creature. Then you got Bloodthirsty, which is while landing an attack that deals bleed, you heal 15% health over 60 seconds. 50% less effective when bleeding, works through combat timer, can be triggered once every 90 seconds. That's really good, by the way. I just gotta say, like, you got 60 seconds off, and then yes, you have to wait 30 seconds to apply it again, but once that's going, you get another healing over 60 seconds with 15% more health, which is crazy. I worded that really wrong, but you get what I mean. All for One is next. You gain 8% increased damage, which stacks up to 5 times, and 10% increased health recovery rate when in a group with other medium-sized carnivores. Then after that, you go to your front limb. You get Slash, which is a claw attack that causes bleed, 35% increased bleed if underwater, and 35% increased damage if on land. Can trigger Bloodthirsty if equipped. Claw attack, once again, it's low damage, high bleed. It also deals Bloodthirsty if equipped. So it's pretty much every bleeding attack. Metabolism, once again, it's Fisher and Hypercarnivore. For your hides, you get 3 here. You get Streamlined, which is 15% increased swim speed, 50% increased health recovery rate while diving. Quilled Hide, which increases bleed damage from your attacks by 50% when you are below 50% health. And then Bright Sail, which increases your armor up to 15% and your bleed damage up to 20% if inflicted with bleed, venom, toxin, poison, or fracture. Scales based on status amount. Does not stack from multiple status effects. Then you go to Back Limb, where you get Surge, which is a quick dart in the water. Hitting a target reduces their swim speed by 15% for 30 seconds, up to 3 stacks, and tears off a chunk of meat. Eating it restores 40% of stamina and 40% of oxygen. Can be triggered only every 30 seconds. Then you get your Ripping Kick, which is a lunge where it deals medium bleed damage, but it can trigger Bloodthirsty if equipped. And that was a standard ability before. You go to your vocal ability. This guy's got vocal abilities now. Then you've got Snarl, which reduces bleed healing for all creatures not in your group within 50 meters by 35% for 60 seconds. Then you got Muffled Roar, which increases swim speed, improves swim turning, and increases all status effect healing by 50% for 3 minutes. Can only be used while diving, and will be interrupted if you exit the water. This ability can be used if you are deafened. After that, you've got Fishy Breath, which applies your most recent buff acquired from eating a fish to all creatures in your group within 50 meters. It's only usable when you're in a group. And that's everything. There's a lot there to go over, so let's really quickly showcase all the animations for the attacks, and then go ahead and check them out in game. Right, everybody. Now, I've switched out my trusted Pachycephalosaurus for a Concavenator because it's got the exact same combat weight and all that jazz. Hopefully, it doesn't cause any side effects. What the hell was that? A stick. So, at the moment, we have our standard trio of attacks here, which is your standard bite, your claw attack, and your ripping kick. We're going to cycle through the attacks, the bites first, and then we're going to go from there. So, the first one is your standard bite. That's how much damage it does. And on the head, if I can hit him. There you go. And that is how much damage you're dealing to the Concavenator there. Next, you have Rend. Now, this is quite a different attack because it has a longer cooldown and a longer animation, so it should do a little bit more damage. There you go. It does actually do quite a bit more damage. I wonder because it goes like up and then down, it will probably be able to hit the head of this Concavenator. Yeah, just about. And there you go. That's how much damage it does. Now, this one does more damage if your target is wet. So what I'm going to really quickly do, I'm just going to freeze the weather, and we're going to make it rain on our Concavenator. And hopefully that means we'll get the full extent of the damage that we're dealing here. So he looks wet. Let's really quickly bite him. So it looks like it only bit him once, even though the animation by the looks of it is like a... It's 3 bites. So let me try that again. Yeah, it's 3 bites. So if I miss it and then do another one. So it looks like it only lands one of them. Wait, let's I've got an idea. So if I'm going to start like that. No, okay. So yeah, it only lands one of them out of the 3, but it does deal quite a bit of damage, especially when your opponent is wet. As you can see, it's quite a damaging attack, and that is quite scary. So the next attack is your standard claw attack, and this does bleed, and it will trigger Bloodthirsty if you have Bloodthirsty enabled. It doesn't do a mass amount of damage, but it does do a nice amount of damage. It does bleed as well, and I'm going to have a look at it right now once I do one more attack. So at the moment, the Concavenator, when I had a look after a couple of attacks there, like 4 or 5, it had 50 seconds of bleed, and it probably caps out at 1 minute by the looks of it. Of course, if the guy's running, it's going to be a lot more bleed. If he's sat down, it's going to be a lot less. So Slash is next, and this deals more damage when on land and more bleed when in the water. So on land is how much damage it does, which does a nice amount of damage. It is a little bit more than the standard claw attack, and you're getting about 15 seconds of bleed there. We're going to just quickly get this guy in the water and do it once more, but first we have one more attack to showcase, and that is the kick. So the kick is the another land-based attack I can show you. Standard Concavenator attack. It looks like it does similar damage to the claw. If I just like run through the front of him. Yeah, it does a decent amount of damage. It's like your old trustworthy attack. But like at the end of the day, the best one is probably like this one, which is is it Riptide? I forgot the name. In terms of when it's not raining, by the way, this is how much it does damage-wise, which is still fairly respectable. It's just, it's got a 3-second cooldown. Its animation is long. As long as you land one of them, you're fine. It's not going to land all 3 of them unless that's a bug. So the next thing to showcase really quickly is Surge and the Slash under the water. So the Slash under the water, I forgot the name of it. It's not called Slash. It's called, well, it is called Slash. Wow, I'm an idiot. This done 15 seconds of bleed before, and after it does 30 seconds. So it's about double that amount. Damage-wise, it's a little bit less, but it's still, commendable. The other thing that I do want to showcase, of course, is this ripping of a meat chunk that you get with Surge. So obviously, you can restore 40% stamina and 40% oxygen with this little meat chunk thing. Now, with the Surge ability, of course, you can't take the meat chunk when you are in the group with a user. Now, this is quite finicky. I've bounced off this guy a couple of times and not actually torn the meat chunk. Let's hope now's our time. There we go. We got it. You basically just have to hit it and not do a drive-by. But this is the meat chunk. It will regen some of your stamina. There you go, full stamina, and your oxygen goes up, and then you have 30 seconds where you cannot do it again. So you cannot get a new meat chunk for 30 seconds. As you can see, your stamina just shot up, and your oxygen shot up as well. It didn't really replenish much of your hunger, though, if any. So it's not a hunger thing. It's meant to be for your other stats effects in the water. Now, there are some other stuff I do want to quickly showcase and talk about, and this comes from the ability. So, firstly, you've got Frenzy, which is 25 increased stamina recovery and 100% acceleration when within 50 meters of a bleeding creature. So, let's really quickly make this guy bleed. And we're going to set our stamina low. The stamina's now on 10. It's very low, and we're going to make this geezer bleed. There you go. He's low on bleed. And the stamina regen is a lot higher now. If I sit down while this is enabled, Frenzy is enabled, it's going to shoot up. Now, obviously, it's dependent on how long that guy's got his bleed for. There's no cooldown for me, but it's the cooldown based on his bleed. And now his bleed has stopped, Frenzy disappears. You have to re-enable the bleed by doing it again. And now my stamina's back up. I'm just going to really quickly show you another part of this ability, and that is the acceleration. So there you go. There's 100% acceleration. It is definitely more noticeable, but you are getting away from it there, and then you slow down a little bit. Your acceleration now, it's a lot less noticeable. Do it again. Start running. It's like instant. So the other one is Bloodthirsty. Now this helps with your healing rate. So for 60 seconds, you'll heal 15% of your health. And as you can see, my health is going up quite slowly. If I quickly apply some bleed and apply, we'll just keep applying it. We've got 60 seconds now of Bloodthirsty, and it looks like it's going up a little bit faster than it was before. Now, this is going to take 60 seconds. It's going to take a little while for this to fully track, and it works through combat timer. I can sit down and maybe it'll go a little bit faster because healing does go a little bit faster while you are asleep, but it looks like it's not really that noticeable. It does say here, restores health, 50% less effective when bleeding. And if I look over here, it says up to 15% of your health, or 15% health over 60 seconds. Less effective while bleeding, as I've mentioned. The next thing we're going to talk about is All for One, which is 8% increased damage, which stacks up to 5 times, and 10% increased health recovery when in a group with other medium-sized carnivores. It's going to be really tough to do because I don't know if it works if you're attacking a group member. But there you go. Now I've healed, and that is the 60 seconds off, and then you have 30 seconds where you can't even do it. It looks like the healing rate is a little bit slower, but it's still ticking up at a decent rate. So Riptide is dependent on how many dinosaurs are in your group. Now I don't know if this is going to work because I'm in group with this Concavenator. But if I do my attack there on this Concavenator, and we'll do 2 there, and that's what it will be like, and let's do 1 more on the head. There you go. Now if I were to really quickly do that again with him not in the group, we'll see if it works any different. So if I just really quickly kick this Concavenator out of the group, All for One is gone. And does it change at all? I think. I'm not too sure. I don't think so. We'll probably get a comparison on the screen if you guys can see it. But yeah, that's All for One. I don't know if that's actually a good, accurate representation of it because I'm attacking someone who was in my group. So the next hide ability is the one I want to showcase today, and it's Quilled Hide, which increases your bleed damage from your attacks by 50% when you're below 50% of your health. So I'm going to really quickly, we'll use our standard claw attack. In terms of the damage it does, it's 15 seconds. Now if I set my health to 10, and we just wait for this guy's bleed to disappear, we've got Quilled Hide enabled now, and I really quickly now attack this Concavenator. Now he's no longer bleeding. That is around 23, 24 seconds, 25 probably of bleed there. Obviously increases your bleed, so you know it's not increased damage as it usually is with these abilities on other dinosaurs. Now in terms of that, the other thing I kind of want to showcase really quickly is literally just to do with nictating membrane, and we go for a full streamlined build just to showcase the actual swimming output of this dinosaur. There's no webbed claws anymore. You've only got nictating membrane, surge, and muffled raw, and your streamlined hide. Muffled raw obviously increases your swim speed, improved swim turning, and stuff like that. So if we just quickly hop into the water, obviously if I had the swimming species on, it would be a lot better too, but I think it's stamina now instead of anything else. As you can see, you've got a little arrow at the bottom. It's not working properly because we're surrounded by AI fish. I don't think they count towards the little icon. We're probably going to go until we find a fish. We probably won't find a fish. So I've made my way into a different lake now because the other one wasn't working. And it looks like there is a fish nearby, but where is it? I'm a little bit blind right now, so I'm going to have to use this ability to find it. Never mind. It's right here, and as you can see, it goes up, and then it's swimming away from me. Come here, little fishy. And then we get it, and I can eat it if I desire, but I'm not hungry at the moment, so I am going to drop it and leave it. But that's how it works. Now, of course, the other thing I want to showcase is what nictating membrane is like in fog and in rainstorms. We're going to do rainstorms because that has fog as well. So this is it, stormy right now. We have nictating membrane on. You can see a little bit better, of course, if I were to remove nictating membrane. Is it instantaneous? I believe it is. Yeah, this is a lot more foggy than it was before. Just a quick example. We could go back, apply it again. You can see much further. You can see the other side of the shore. But that's the Concavenator. Let's quickly showcase the animations for the emotes as an adult. I love the animations for this, guys. They've all updated. They all look a lot better. It's all great. And there's some skins as well. In terms of updated skins, we have this little checkbox in the way here, but in terms of updated skins, default skin, we are a female, so let's really quickly go back to normal. and have a gander. So here we go. So you got your default skin and your patterns. You have Garter, which is obviously a paid skin. You have Skink. Now this is an updated one. This is Spotted and it looks great. It's a very, very pretty skin. You got Blue Tongue, which is also a skin that is being updated. It was updated in the major update. If you want to check out the major update, I recommend you check out yesterday's video. You got Pointed, then Banded, Whale Shark, Tiger, Brightfoot. This is another one that was updated. Then you have Albino, Melanistic, and finally your Backer. And that is that. In terms of the updated skins, what they look like as a female. I do love the Blue Tongue as a female, by the way. It just looks so nice. And then Brightfoot as well. But that is that. So there we go, everybody. That is the brand new Concavenator TLC. I'd love to know your thoughts about this one in the comments down below. Do you like it? Do you not? I love the new emotes for this one especially. I think some of the attacks are great. Definitely how you use them. For example, this bite right here, I think it's called Riptide. It's very strong, especially if it's raining or the users near you are wet. And then obviously you have Surge and stuff like that. So you're tuned for water combat or land combat. It's whatever fits your boat especially. But other than that, guys, I want to know your thoughts. Are you happy? Are you not? And guess what? I didn't need to go on holiday. I was on a run, and 10 minutes before, like after I came back, this released, which is why I'm a little bit out of breath is the best way to explain it, or hot. It's very hot after that. Anyways, I'll see you all later. I hopefully will be streaming this literally when this video's up, so if you want to check it out, I'll be live on my channel. If not, there might be a VOD. Anyways, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Peace.